We are... That's the wrong camera. Drew is just an idiot. It actually focused right on it. Anyway, that's Drew being... Sorry, that's Drew being a goose. Drew's got a little My Whatever Pony collection. Jesus. He came up on here too. What is it? My Little Pony collection, Drew.
My Little Pony.
Yeah, right. Ah, good. Anyway, hi, guys. It is episode 36. My name's ChristianLangeder and I'm an equine soft tissue therapist. I specialise in treating muscular issues in performance horses. We keep on changing stuff or trying to alter things. So if anyone has someone's hitting the likes already. Thank you. Whoever's hitting the likes, more likes can affect viewers. Keep it up. Yes, that's what it says. So I don't know where that came from because I didn't write it, but it said it. If you guys, firstly, episode 36, thank you. Welcome. ChristianLangeder here with Drew. Drew's playing with his My Little Pony collection behind the scenes. Pretty weird, but anyway, that's what he does. So today we've had a usual, always a big week. I'm always busy. I saw, I'm going to just go through a few little things. I saw Abby Clark this week at Elko Park local, in Victoria. She's got a bunch of little show horses. Saw them. Steve Richards, saw Steve after a very long time. He's a race trainer out at Flemington. He's got one running today, so keep an eye out for it. It has had a bunch of seconds, but it's in a pretty heavy hot race. Nathan Dunn, Shane Nichols, I always see Shane every second week. All his horses are amazing. He's got a couple of really good ones. Nathan Dunn actually broke the Pakenham track record last week, I believe. And then into the trotters, Scott Ewan, Dean Braun. I get a lot of trotters at the moment for some reason, but they're all really salt of the earth, amazing, good, hard-working people. They're awesome. So that's about it. I'm just going to explain. So the purpose of this show, as I like to say, the purpose of this show is I obviously do TikToks. We're going to go through a couple of TikToks that I do, break it down. It gives you guys the opportunity to ask any questions. Or if you have a question about your horse, feel free to ask. We always like to, thank you, Justine, liked lots of stuff. Thanks, Justine. She's going crazy. What happens is I break down these TikToks. We have a look at them. I try to explain things that I often see in horses. If you have a problem, I'd love to hear if you've got a thing with horses. Ask any questions about any of these TikToks. The other thing is we love to hear where you're from, like which country you're from. And we also love when people smash the like button like Justine on the White Hat account she is going to hurt herself. We've got some really exciting news for the people in the UK. Yeah. We got some really exciting news for you guys at the end of this. I might be anyway. We got some exciting news at the end. So anyway, that'll be at the end. But we definitely got some exciting news. We are maybe planning a trip, so we'll get into that more. Cool. Shall we hit a video?
Let's do it.
Right. This is one. It's from Shalar. It is at Woodside Stud. Oh, I actually treated another stud horse called General Bow recently. I love treating the big stallions. They've got an incredible feel about them. The guys at Woodside Stud are amazing people. I go there often. This is one of their stallions. Da-da-da-da. This is one of their stallions.
It's going.
All right. I'm at Woodside Stud. Amir is filming. We've got Luke holding. This is Shalar. You probably can't see from this angle. You've probably never seen him from this angle, but they've just finished the breeding season. We're just making sure they're okay. We're seeing what sort of patterns they have, what sort of sorters they have. This is one of the ones on the first horse. You can see that, right? So all that is, bum is fine, medial glutes fine, biceps femoris is fine, the stifles are fine. That's just the inner hamstring. So I'm going to be really mindful and we're going to fix it up. What's been interesting is so far we've just found pattern in the neck and the hamstrings on him. The neck fixed up really nicely. He's chilling out. I was just going to say, I was saying to them, they're all going to be hungover tomorrow and the next day. Luke's probably going to have a day off because they're just going to go mental. So anyway, the hangover will clear. They're going to be feeling nice and loose again. And so they're going to have like 5 stallions here that are just going to be a little bit naughty. Anyway. So there you go. That's the difference, right? Mm-hmm. That happened in seconds. So we're going to go through the whole lot. We're going to fix them up. We'll see how we go.
Fantastic.
Thanks, awesome.
Is that it?
That's it. Short as that. Short and sweet. Have a look at the coat on that horse. That's in the off season. That is so spectacular. He was pretty cheeky. He was a bit of a kicker. So that's why I was saying that I had to be careful. That's the inner hamstring. The thing that studs often have inner hamstrings and fronts. They grab onto the mares and bite them. So their neck is sore, their fronts are sore. Good morning, Donna. How you going? Donna's from Queensland. They grab them and bite them. So it was really unusual for me to find that any breeding stallions, whether they are, live cover is all neck and shoulders because they really have to grip on, and hamstrings. If they're on a dummy, I often find it's usually sort of like pelvic and sort of like gut muscles, all the abdominals. So that's the difference in that. Justine, hi, you're from Northampton in the UK. My work is incredible. Thank you so much. I got some serious news for you guys. You've got Royal Ascot at the moment. Australians like to say Ascot, but it's Royal Ascot, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so Royal Ascot's on at the moment. It's the biggest race in the UK carnival, or the biggest week or so. So anyway, I hope you guys are watching it, and we have news about that for next something. Anyway, that's about it, I think.
Tying up.
Tying up. Ah, yeah, that's right. You had a tying up problem. I wrote to a company recently about tying up, about the herbs that they use. Tying up is such an issue, especially in mares, racing mares. It is so diverse. It's a magnesium and a calcium problem or balance problem. And it is so, you're never going to treat it as a therapist. In fact, most of the time when you go to a horse and it has tied up and you run your hands over it, there's absolutely, you can't feel anything wrong with them. They're still soft, everything is fine on them. So we need to either treat it herbally. I know James Vanner, I spoke to a vet this week by the name James Vanner in Geelong. He gives them an injection. I spoke to Inga Burke at Reb Gum Run. They were using a type of herb, and it's going to come back to me. But anyway, they were using a herb. But James again said, that's part of it, but you definitely need to give an injection. I spoke to the herbal people that supplied the herb, and they're saying that it's mostly magnesium with a whole bunch of other stuff. So tying up is basically where the horse looks like it spasms all over the place and it can't move properly. And so it's seriously just like a full body cramp. And then once it releases, then they're fine again. But it can be hormonal in mares, Donna, as well. So these are the things that can bring it on is stress, hormones, or if they've had too much of a break and all of a sudden you work them hard. So because it's so diverse and it's such a big topic, there was a vet from Crown Equine by the name of Rob who did a study on it, and he said once he'd done the study, he was no wiser to how to help tying up either. So it's one of those real mysteries that, like everything, it seems to be all encompassing. We know it's mostly in fillies or mares. We know it's stress related. We know it happens after a break. We know how it happens. So far as how to stop it, it's still a real problem. So there you go. So tying up, big one for sure.
Thanks, Donna. I'm just on the other account. We've got Raylene says, love watching your work. You are magic. I'm an Emmett therapist, which is similar to what you do. Yeah.
Hey, Raylene. Yeah, absolutely. It's not far off. They do have that. They do cross over. Emmett is awesome. I'm a big fan of it. I think that they use my videos a fair bit. Drew's going to get funky with the My Little Pony thing. So you never work with animals and children. And Drew's both of those. Anyway, So Emmett, definitely, I love Emmett. I believe that they use my videos quite a bit for teaching. Rebecca Cooper is a very good friend of mine. In fact, I would almost say that I was the influence for her getting into her work. She has an amazing story about a dog that couldn't walk. She got home one day and it was laying in the backyard. It couldn't walk. She called me. I went out there and treated it. I thought she was going to put the dog down. And it could absolutely not walk. It was in the rain, in the mud, laying on the ground. The vets told her that they're going to have to put it down. I went there, I treated it. I told her I would come back the next day, which is, I never do that. But I did it because I thought she was going to put the dog down. The next day I got back to her place and knocked on the door. She opened the door and the dog was standing behind her. So the dog was absolutely fine. That day the dog jumped into the car, went back to the vet, and the vet couldn't believe what they saw. Now, basically, in my opinion, it had a pinched nerve in its neck and it could not function. So I treated the neck and it was fine. But it was magic enough for Rebecca, and she documented it. But anyway, so Rebecca got into doing Bowen therapy and Emmett therapy. Emmett and Bowen are both, for those of you watching internationally, are both Australian-based therapies. Bowen therapy incorporates muscle, nerve and fascia. Emmett is kind of a release thing. Similar, they both definitely had an impact on how I treat, but probably mostly osteopathy has had the biggest impact.
That's it. That's it.
That's it. Short and sweet. All right, so I'm at Melton Equestrian Academy. Oh God, getting better with names. All right, this is Keely's horse. It's Toby. So Toby has got this issue here. If you have a horse that has problems lifting its legs or isn't quite using its legs properly, front legs that is, this could be your problem. I don't know, Keely, if you can see the difference between this muscle, this chest muscle here, and this one here is the bicep, which is that. And you can see with him, he really doesn't like it. Now, in a second, you're going to see me and the horse fly that way with this gate tied to us. Anyway, so if you have a horse that's not actually free moving in the front or doesn't pick up its legs properly, just check that muscle. This is one of the ones that you can actually use a massage gun for, or use your hands or whatever, creams, any of that sort of stuff. We're just going to sit here and go into a little bit of a zone and fix it up quickly. It is pretty chilly here. Keely's like rolling her eyes. Anyway, he's just going to go into a little bit of a zone while we fix this up. Hopefully, good boy. Yeah. And there you go. That's the difference. Now he's just complaining because I'm annoying him. But aside from that, that's the bicep. So again, if you have a horse that doesn't pick its legs up properly, check that, not that, and not that. Anyway, thanks. Bye. Antonio, we're from Spain. Buenos noches.
Buenos noches.
Hello, mate. How are you? Welcome. Hi from Australia. All right. So that was Keely Tompkinson's horse. If you have a horse that can't pick its leg forwards, the three things that you're going to look at the front of the horse is the lower neck, the pec, that main pec muscle, and the bicep. I think we've got the other one. I don't know. Do you have the other one with the grey pony? The other one. This one with Keely's horse was the bicep. Later, it's right in front of me. The one with the grey pony that I'm talking about, Jack Frost. It's going to be the chest. So I tried to show this week. If you have a problem with your horse, like really bringing the leg forward, check the bicep. That was the first one with Keely. So you can go to my TikToks and have a look. They weren't real popular, but you know, it's the front of the horse and it's not dangerous, so people don't watch it as much. Or this pec muscle. The bicep, all we do is lift with it. So the horse does much the same. And if you can determine all the different muscles, then it makes it easier to fix it, right? So in Keely, her horse wasn't driving through, like lifting up properly with the front. It was showing a response when I rolled my fingers over it. And that's all I do. I just roll my fingers through the fibers. And if I get an involuntary reaction or an involuntary spasm, then I treat it. These two, this one, the last one and this one, you can use things like Rapid Gel, DMSO, machines like massage guns, red light therapy units, etc. You can use all that sort of stuff. So they're pretty safe. There's no contraindications. There's nothing that you need to worry about. There's a bit of bone just in the actual joint, but aside from that, you're absolutely fine. He fixed up fine, no problems at all.
Erica says smiles from Missouri.
Missouri, hello Missouri. Oh my God, it's we love we love hearing where you're from. So Missouri, Spain is absolutely awesome. I had a message that there's a student in Spain that's basing a doctorate or actually using some of my videos as a doctorate. In Spain, apparently they don't differentiate between cribbing, which is just biting things or chewing on wood, and wind sucking, where the horse actually grabs it, pulls, and gives itself a dopamine rush by sucking oxygen into its head. It is the worst sound. It's kind of like, it's like this sound that just every horse person that I know hates the sound of wind sucking. So he's going to do a doctorate based on some of my, well, not based, but using some of my videos to prove his hypothesis or his theories. So he's going to say that it's a difference between cribbing and wind sucking. We already know that, but apparently in Spain they think it's all the same thing. What has been your hardest fix on a horse? You know what, Erica, I had a little fella the other week at Two Bays Farm. Couldn't even get near him. As far as treating, as far as the hardest fix, it was muscle. And I mentioned James Vanner earlier, Dr. James Vanner, who I do a little bit with. I work quite a bit with a lot of vets. We had a big stock horse that had problems. We determined it ended up being a fractured pelvis, but there were no indications of a fractured pelvis. Usually that, like, a fractured pelvis also rectifies itself within 12 months. This was like the two halves of the pelvis had completely come apart. And there was no palpable, or when we went to x-ray it and check it out, it looked absolutely perfectly normal. They ended up doing an autopsy on the horse, and after we put it down, but we worked at that for probably about a year. And it was one of those ones that I'm very much I'm very aware about staying in my lane. If I can't do anything, I definitely refer on to experts. And James was my expert, and eventually we found it, but it was a bit of a struggle, and it didn't really have a good ending to it. So anyway, I would say that's the hardest one. We'll go to Pucci's one first.
That was what she was asking about. You just answered it.
Oh, right. Yeah. So that was the hardest one. Seeing I've been doing this for 25 years, I'm pretty quick to see what I know, and I'm also pretty quick to see what I don't know. So, and when I don't know things, I definitely move on to refer on to other people. So I like to refer on to saddle fitters, farriers, dentists, vets. I work with a lot of vets, and I know when it's their bag and not mine, and that's how we treat it.
Can we get back to Sean after this next video?
Absolutely. Oh, Sean, yes, absolutely we can.
Thanks, Sean. Stand by.
Yeah.
Are you going?
Yeah.
Is it actual video?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's actual video. Where are we? We're in Namagoon.
Yeah.
This is Jack Frost. He's got like a Suede Effects clip job, which is freaking awesome. I wanted to show you. He's cute. I wanted to show you. Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like... Anyway, I wanted to show you something. So this is the descending pec, right? You need me and the horse and everything just to make sure. This is a descending pec. I call it, it's pec major in us, right? And so if your horse, I did a video before about bicep, that was the last video. This one, same thing. If your horse can't move its leg forward properly, look at that muscle there, right? So that's a descending pec, deep pec or ascending, descending, ascending. Anyway, this is the main pec muscle. That's what it looks like when it's sore. He obviously doesn't like it. So I'm gonna fix it up. Don't kneel in front of horses you don't know, by the way. But anyway, hello, Jay. We don't need him here. So I'm just going to treat this up. You can use, hi mate, probably can't see my hand with your head there. You can use a massage gun, anything you like. I just use my fingers, obviously. So, boy, that's the difference, right? So if your horse can't move its leg forward, Either try the biceps or this big pec muscle here. Thanks. So that was actually a really good one because that was. That was a really good one. So, thanks, Drew. And I guess I actually filmed both of those with an area in mind. Like I said, I'm going to start filming all the different bits of the horse again, just so we can go through it and actually help people understand more about their horses and particular issues. So again, today obviously is about like trying to lift your leg, bring your leg forward. Bicep, pectoral, on him it was the pec, and all you need to do, bye Poochie, bye. Anyway, all you need to do is just run your finger through the fibers, and where there's a part that's really tight, it will spasm. If you find that spasmy bit, massage it. That's all you need to do. So we do get caught up on how I treat. I love how I treat. I'm glad you guys like how I treat too. I know it looks like magic, but you can just massage it. You can either just use your hand, use machines, whatever. Anyway, so excuse me, it's winter and I've got a bit of a weird nose.
Except in certain places, like the neck and around the eye socket.
Oh yeah, don't do it in the eye socket. Yeah, don't do it in the eye socket, and be very mindful around the mouth or in the mouth.
There you go.
Yes, Drew. All right, we've got a couple of questions.
From Sean, from Ireland.
Oh, good, from Ireland. Hey, Sean, how are you? Would you do much stretching in the hind and front limbs? A therapist in Ireland. Yeah, look, Sean, I love yoga for myself. I'm not opposed to stretching. I don't like if therapists use stretching as a, if they treat and then give the owner a course of stretches. I'm not a fan only because I think, well, just fix the muscle. And if it's a tear, you don't really want to stretch it, you just want to move it. I'm a big fan of warming up and cooling down. I look at warm up as in you're just moving the muscle before you actually really use it. And I look at cooling down like a backwash. So we're actually flushing all the lactate or lactic acid out of the fascia. So when you've finished using the horse, flush it through. I generally say to people, move the horse till you're breathing and the horse's breathing is normal. And so there's no real timing, so to speak, but I just like people to move it because in my opinion, all we're doing, we're not cooling down the muscle, so to speak. We're just flushing all the acid out of the body. Much like when you're going to watch at the Olympics, they'll get the swimmers after they've actually swum, they'll just jump into the pool and they'll like flush all the acid out of their system by just in the cool down pools. So I look at warm up and cool down as the most important thing. I think that people like to do really fancy stretches, carrot stretches, depending on if there's a strain that they always get in the lower neck. I don't, but I don't say, I don't stop people, but I don't highly recommend them. If people want to do them, absolutely do them. I do like them. Like I said, I'm a yoga person, so I definitely do it. But I think warming up, cooling down is the thing that doesn't look so sexy that people often don't do, and I think it's more important. I hope that, and you may have a different opinion. I don't mind. It's like, that's why we're all different. Next one, yeah?
Yep, Teresa.
From Teresa. When you fix an area, do you find that you have to come back to fix the same area other times? No, I don't. Drew's like, no. No, I'm a bit of a one-hit wonder. I treat it, I fix it. And that's maybe why I'm so popular. Once I've actually treated a muscle, if it has an issue, unless it's really chronic, and even then I usually fix it one time, I don't come back. The only time it's going to get sore again is if it re-injures. Now, obviously we have sports like racing, show jumping, whatever, where they're using the same muscle over and over again. Sometimes they can restrain, and if they do, I fix it again. But usually I don't have to go back for the same thing more than once.
Mohammed over on the other account. Hey,
Mohammed, hello.
Love you and your art.
Thank you, Mohammed. Where are you from, Mohammed? We want to know where you're from. What about pre and post racing? What about it, Donna? I definitely treat pre and post racing. Usually what we do is we bring the horses in from the paddock. We go over and make sure Some traders will go over them. Some will wait till they're up to trialing stage for me to look at them. Or do you mean before racing? If it's before racing, I tend to treat, what does it do? Treating pre and post racing? Is that what you think she means?
Yep, probably.
So,
Yes.
oh yeah, okay. You're right on it.
Hey, Mohammed's from Egypt.
Mohammed, hello from Egypt. We'd love to see some of your videos with horses.
Yeah.
So, Donna, pre-racing, we just make sure that there's no fascial adhesions, no tight muscles, and we make sure that their range of motion is as good as possible. Post-racing, we just make sure that we fix up any little niggles, injuries, etc. that might happen. So they're the benefits, yeah? So we just make sure that they're ready to go. Much like football, we make sure they're limber before and not injured after.
Super. We've just got, this is the last thing we're going to look at. It's just a couple of questions from...
And then we got a kind of an exciting story after that.
on YouTube. Yes, but then we'll be wrapping up.
So for those people in the UK, we got something after this. Am I reading this or can you read it?
I think you probably...
No, why?
I can't really
You
see
can't read
from
it? Yeah, neither can I. Who is it? Vicky. Excuse me, guys. I took your advice about putting the sawhorse on magnesium oxide powder from the feed store, and I've been really happy with the results. The guys at the feed store usually deal with cattle people, but they didn't even know what magnesium oxide was for. And I answered, great to hear.
Yeah.
Is that what I answered?
I think I
Yeah, okay.
that.
It was that. So the magnesium oxide powder, they use it often in calving for cattle. Basically, magnesium is an antispasmodic. It stops cramping. Magnesium oxide, is this still the same one or are these two separate ones?
No, they're just other comments and questions.
Yeah, so Vicky, yeah, absolutely. Magnesium, it's cheap. I often say that if people use more magnesium when they're competing, that they would need a therapist less because there's not going to be any cramps or any of that sort of stuff. So definitely magnesium oxide powder. I know a lot of people, someone said add vitamin E, there's that's for cramping as well. I know, or restless legs, definitely vitamin E as well. But you know what? I don't want to make it too difficult. The vitamin E helps the magnesium absorb, I think. But I just smash them with magnesium. Anyway,
which CauseMag product do you recommend for horses? Is it the AL4? They have a range and don't specify horses in any product descriptions.
Yeah, it was the AL4, I believe. It is the powder as opposed to, so it's magnesium oxide powder. That's from the UK. It is, we have it here, we call it, it's a, we use a C4, so it's the CauseMag C4 powder. So we got the C4, but any magnesium oxide powder is going to be absolutely fine. It is crude, I know, but it takes up really well. So, next one. Thank you. Did we answer, or was that?
I don't know.
Thank you. My chestnut nutmare has started bucking on the left leg. I'm going to pay attention to that spot note. Sometimes she gets sassy when she tries to kick. When I work on that spot, she has a hard cycle as well. Okay, we're in spring. Yeah, absolutely. The mares are gonna go crazy in the spring. That's a really hard one. If you've got a sassy mare and it's season time and everything, it makes it very difficult to check.
Mohammed has a question.
Yes, Mohammed.
If you may. My mare is suffering suspensory ligament injury in her right hind leg since August 2023. It's been a while. I can't ride her.
That's really weird, Mohammed. Unfortunately, it must be a really serious injury. Speak to your vet. Obviously, that's what you're going to have to rehab it if it's not completely severed. But that's shocking. That's not good. All right, last one.
Teresa.
Hello, Teresa. I'm SRGP, EMF, pulse magnetic therapy. Thoroughbred often withers, reactive. Owner denies it's a saddle fit. Any ideas? Yeah, I can absolutely tell you how to check if it's a saddle or not. If you if you got the scapula and you got the wither on top, if you run your fingers through that muscle between the actual shoulder blade, and you get a reaction, it's going to be either, but you know that you've definitely got a problem. Then just go to the end of the wither we don't have a horse up. End of the wither, and what we need to do. Oh, so yeah, then that doesn't have a wither, Drew. Drew, where's your other funky horse? There's your other funky horse.
Yeah, do you want
Sorry, this is gonna be really stupid. Drew just keeps on buying these really stupid toys. Look at that. Anyway, here, Drew. I'll have your pony back. Then you go to the end of the wither. This is ridiculous. I can't do it. I go to the end of the wither and run your finger down the border of the muscle, right? If you get a reaction, hi, huge Ackman's in the house. So then you run your finger along the border, and if you get a reaction from that, you know it's the muscle. Here's the interesting part. This is how you know if it's a saddle. If you go to the actual shoulder blade and you put your finger onto the shoulder blade and apply pressure straight down onto the actual scapula, if the horse buckles because you're pushing on the bone, then you've got a bruised bone or a bruised cartilage. The top third is cartilage, and it's definitely saddle impingement. Yeah? So we're going to go over that again. If you go over the border of the muscle and get a reaction as your confirmation, it's the muscle. If you apply pressure directly down onto the scapula, the top of the shoulder blade, then it's going to be the scapula, which means as the scapula is rocking back into the saddle is impinging it and it's bruising the tissue. Yeah, they're the two easy ways. And if you want to know if it's the rest of the saddle, you just lightly scratch the skin, because then it'll be inflammation in the connective tissue. I might do saddle ones this week, so you can have a look. So have a look at my TikToks. I'll do saddle stuff. If you scratch lightly, then it's the skin or the superficial connective tissue. It's also the saddle, because it's either shifting or pinching and it's bruising it. So there you go. Check it by pushing on the scapula.
I've got Luggies, and anyone who missed that or wants to review, obviously jump over to YouTube.
Or Spotify.
This whole thing, yeah, or Spotify. The full episode will be up on that in a day or so, in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Luggies says, could you talk about the stifle lock, please?
Oh, stifle, yeah. Stifle lock happens in young dressage horses. What stifle lock is when the back knee, the stifle, actually, instead of gliding in and out, it actually clunks. It sort of locks, and then you see the horse, and all of a sudden it sort of gives way, rather than coming out of being locked smoothly. It clicks. Best way, I was trying to find horses. I didn't find an appropriate horse to do a video on stifle lock this week. I will continue to look for it. That's probably one we're going to have to do on video. Again, I'll try this week. You basically rock them out of them standing still, and whether they just glide their knee out or whether they clunk out, and you'll feel the clunk in your hand as you're rocking them to the side. Best thing for it, I believe, is exercises. I would also see, depending on, work is good for it. In young dressage horses, it's mostly work that we do. But I would definitely also do that and make sure that your vet has a look at the locking stifle. Joint supplements could help, etc. as well. So it's going to be mostly work, or that's what we try to do with them. Hills are good. But again, do that in conjunction with your vet. Speak to your vet, because you'll want a professional to be there with you. It's not something you just do on your own. Right.
All right, tell everyone your news.
Right, so big news is for those people in the UK. I am very likely going to be coming out to the UK next year with Pucci. I have a client here by the name of Jane Chappell-Hyam. She's currently got horses running at Royal Ascot. Hello, Jane, if you're there, or if you're seeing this or whatever. Jane has has invited me out to the UK. So we're in very early stages of working out something. So for those of you who are in the UK, who are interested in doing big stuff, we'll see how it goes. I have to finish writing my course. It may end up being clinics. It may end up being just like treatments. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to bring as an arsenal to the UK, but I definitely know that I'll be looking over Jane's stable during Royal Ascot, which is going to be absolutely... Do I need a porter? Sorry, huge. I have my beautiful wife coming along. I'll probably carry her, but no, she carries her own bags. Anyway, so early stages, that's just a thing. Very likely that I'll come out to, Pucci and I will come out to the UK this time next year. So we've got a year to plan it. early stages. Ireland will probably be on the trip as well. So England and Ireland looks like we might have our first proper tour. So yeah, that's the news. Anyway, so it'll be interesting to see how that comes together. But fantastic news! Congrats! Try Olympia here too. Big horse show in London. Oh, is it around this time as well, Justine? Olympia? I'd love to do that. I'd love to do a big horse show. So anyway, I'm going to try to find as many different things. Yeah, Olympia. Justine was smashing the likes before. I'm going to try to find as many different things to do as possible while I'm over there. So we're going to really make this worthwhile for both me, obviously for Jane, which is just going to be incredible, and also for everyone in the UK. So we're really looking forward to it. I'm fully excited about it, even though it's very early stages.
Super.
So if any people have any recommendations about places, things to do in the UK, please message us at where, Drew?
TheLangederEquineShow @gmail.com. But
Okay.
again, if people can jump over to the YouTube and watch the edited sessions of these podcasts, we give all the contact information in the credits of the podcast. So, or just message us. But it's a little bit difficult on TikTok, so message us on YouTube or Facebook or whatever.
Absolutely. And next week, as I said, I'm going to look at doing things about saddles. So if you have an issue with your saddle, tune in next week. We're going to do a whole bunch of different stuff. I will show you how to check from saddle to muscle to structure to whatever. I'll make my TikToks work this week in conjunction with that. So if you have saddle problems or you're worried about the saddle and we want to do saddle questions, come and see me next week and we'll do some of that stuff. Anyway, that was 36. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great weekend.